Hi, everybody. Oh, we got through all the steps as we prepared to go live here on a Saturday night, the 29th of July, 2023. And then I saw the screen was blank and I looked down and I had not plugged in the camera. I have done this before. It's time to send me to Happy Acres and alarm me to a chair. Yeah. I'd be trying to get up all the time. That alarm be going off a lot. Well, how are you? We're about 4 minutes late, but we are here for Saturday night worldwide ramblings live around America and various parts of the U.S. I'll type in, where are you from? We always like to know where you're from. Where you're watching us from, really, is what we mean. Where are you watching from? Please subscribe and like if you haven't already. Hi, Brenda. Yes, I did, Brenda. I think we've used some of them, haven't we? We have used some of your pics, and I thank you so much. Now, are there two Brendas sending me pics or just one? One doesn't use your last name and one does, so that might be two Brendas. So I'm never sure who I'm thanking. It gets a little confusing. Yes, thank you for the applause, Deborah. I've learned to plug in the camera before actually trying to do a broadcast again. Something tells me I'll have to learn it all over. Judy Wright is here from Georgia. Hi, how are you? And Nancy DeMarco just spoke to you in the comments section. And she says, hello, folks. Just got power back. Yeah, we've had some power issues in the last week or so. We've had some Wi-Fi going down, but everything has cooled down and calmed down here in the U.S., and we're expecting a pretty nice Sunday. We're going actually to the Otisville Fair tomorrow to see our friend Bob the Bee-Man. I'm going to have to interview Bob sometime. And he's the guy who drove Karen and I for my procedure for my defibrillator implantation. And that was so appreciated. Hello, Joanne Cooper and everybody. Um, you're in Lake City, Florida. It's probably still pretty hot there, right? Although in Melbourne, it wasn't that. I checked Melbourne because we know someone who has a home there. And it was okay. Jay Masters, the stud himself, is here. Big Jay here checking in from the road. How's it going, Jack? Well, pretty good, Jay. Pretty good. I'm a pretty happy man. People sometimes think that because I had this implantation that I'm, down about it, but I'm actually very happy that I got it. It was so far no complications. I have not gotten shocked. It's also a pacemaker and a data grabber. I am recording data right now as I speak on this handy dandy device, and about 2 a.m. it will transmit the past 24-hour data. They won't see it in real time, though. Thank you very much about that. Jay, Joseph, Kelly, how's everyone doing this evening? Oh, it's good to have you aboard. We're up to about 18 already, my goodness. Not bad, not bad. And if I miss someone, I'll come back. Alice Warner, travel down from South Carolina to, are you saying Washington State, huh? On vacation? You went to Washington State on vacation? I hope you brought your taser. Now, I'm sure there's some very nice, safe parts of Washington State. I'd stay out of Portland if I were you, but, when you have a governor with their thumb firmly implanted in there, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But you wanted to get out of, is it probably cooler in Washington State, no, than it was in South Carolina? I know when I lived in, my back is suddenly itchy here. I have that problem, a left shoulder that's always itchy. And I try various things. I went to the dermatologist, and they were less than helpful. They gave me some free samples of C'est La Vie itch cream, and it wasn't enough. So it's something I've struggled with for years. I have back scratchers. I have older or a different toothbrush that I put the cream on so I can reach back and ah, here I'm going to do it live on the air. This stuff here is not so great, and I'm running out. So now the toothbrush is in there, Gold Bond, but it does something. So we'll see here. I'm running out. I also use various lotions. Put that right down in there. Never thought I'd do this on the air. And it smells like Ben Gay, though, Did you even know Ben was gay? Yeah. Okay. Maybe that'll help. So I'm not saying, oh, I'm itchy, itchy, itchy. I got the itchies. um, Portland is not for you, right? Okay. Yeah. Oh, boy. Hello, Andra. Steve. Here's somebody new, I think. Steve Monzon. Elvis lives. Amen. Where are you watching from, Steve? Welcome to the family here on Worldwide Ramblings on a Saturday night. We have Mike watching from the UK. He should be about getting up. Someone else from the UK was telling me they try to watch, but it's like 6 o'clock in the morning there. They may watch the replay. Hello, replay crowd. Many watching the replay because it's available here at the Virtual Church of the Disillusioned in the live section as soon as we end the broadcast. I'm always surprised how many people have already seen the replay when I go to it. How's that work? That I see more people than seem to be watching live. Now, you can come on here, and I've asked this before, and no one's ever told me. Can you come on here and not be in the count? If you come on, can you kind of hide yourself from the count? I don't know. I'm, technically impaired. Jack, when the power went out on my block Wednesday at 3 p.m., they got it fixed. I had to throw $152 of meat out. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, I bet your local convenience store ran out of ice real quick, too. The sunflowers are nice. Yeah, that's actually Karen's bedspread. I've used it before. You live in Ventura County in California. Love you, Jack. Well, thank you very much, Stephen. I'm pleased. I appreciate that, and I'm pleased that you are part of the family here, and you're making me think of a song. And I bet you know what one it is, Steve. I wish I could go to Spotify and play it, but they won't let me. They will instantly block it. So, even though it's being compensated for because I'm playing it off of Spotify, I have a subscription. But Ventura Highway, I can't think of any other lyrics, and I've heard the song a million times. But I would like to play Ventura Highway right now. It would be nice. And I'd like to play some Randy Meisner from the Eagles. God rest his soul, died of COPD a few days back. Now we've just got Don Henley, and I think we have Timothy Schmidt, don't we? Did I miss something? I could have missed something. We've lost the great Glenn Fry. He died down at New York City Hospital, around 2019, and just about 60 miles from me. What is your take on UFOs, aliens, and reverse engineering? Send me an email and tell me what you mean about reverse engineering, because I don't know. What it is. Jack the Fair Guy, Fair, Jack the Fair Guy, and I say it numerous times. Jack the Fair Guy, as if you're going to the carnival, as I will be, and Sunday night. Come on, Vito, come to the big carnival in Otisville tomorrow night to see the fireworks. All right. And meet the B-Man, buy some honey from him. Hello, Vito, my hair guy, Vito Yazzo, who is a great singer who sings a lot of Elvis songs. Check out Vito Yazzo, not now, but after the broadcast, Yozzo, and check and subscribe and like Vito's music. But he is responsible for what little hair I have left, and it's getting to the point where I'm thinking about those hair growth things. So I know the thing that was so popular in like the 80s, the 90s didn't work for me. Was it minoxidil or something? But there are new things, but I can't spend a fortune to get them because this bald spot's getting bigger. I noticed it and I am really down on it. I don't like a bald spot, you know. I was supposed to be there, but they never got back to me. Oh, you were supposed to sing at, well, now's the time then to come up to tomorrow night, Vito, to the Otisville Fair and, reintroduce yourself to the entertainment guy and maybe next year, and maybe they have something else, that they could fit you into. Marianne Rossi, not to be confused with Donna Rossi, is here. Hello, everyone. Andrus says, oh, that's terrible, Brenda. Something going on with Brenda. Yeah, about the meat, right? Yeah, you don't want to lose your groceries. Ours was out for a little while, around 3, 4, 5 in the morning for a couple of hours, but nobody uses the fridge, so that was kept cold. Nobody uses the fridge at that hour. Hello, Kathleen. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'd like to know more about that, Steve. Oh, UFOs. We have a video. I live about 15 miles from the worldwide capital of UFO sightings. That would be Pine Bush, New York. I was just in Pine Bush a couple of weeks ago. They have the UFO/paranormal museum there. I hate to say I haven't been inside yet. Karen has. Linda Zimmerman. Do you know that name? Linda Zimmerman, who lives not far from here. She's on a lot of ghost shows and what have you, but she talks about UFOs as well. And I've seen her speak several times in several different places. And so she goes to Pine Bush. And we have one of our live shows. You'll see the pictures of the aliens and watch that show when you get a chance, because we talk about the ghost team that went into, they're a ghost team, but they went in to check out the UFOs and some of the personal experiences of people. I think this was 2019 they taped this. I thought that the UFOs had moved out, to be honest with you. Yes, I believe in UFOs. They had that big panel, didn't they? It didn't help, though, that the guy who was testifying, nice man, good looking guy, but he has these buggy eyes. So he kind of looks like a conspiracy theorist. And I have been called that myself. I know what it feels like to be called that by a British newspaper. But anyway, sure, there's something going on out there. God never said we were his only creation, and I don't know much about it, but I do like it when they say that the aliens make sure stupid humans don't set off nuclear weapons, so they kind of screw things up at the nuclear site. May they keep doing it to all countries, not just one, but all countries. Here's somebody new. Darren Stormcloud. Does not sound like a real name, but if it is, Darren, you should be a meteorologist on TV, like Storm Field was, son of Frank Field, a New York weatherman legend who just passed away last week or the week before. Frank Field passed away at 100 years old. Cool guy. Hi, Larry Hogan. Well, we've got both studs in the house. Nice that you're here. Melissa Gergen. Hi, Jack. She says, hello, hello, hello. Oh, goodness. I got 42 so far. I did ask in the promo for the biggest audience we've ever had live. What's the number you'd have to beat? Not that you can do it because you're only one person. You'd have to beat, to my recollection, which is at this age is a little sketchy, 73 was the highest I remember. The highest number total is, I think it was a few weeks ago, which was 1.3. 1.3. That's pretty good for live. Of course, we could do much better than that. We've lost a few here and there. It's par for the course, If I get depressed about people that I've lost or people that I might have lost and I'm not sure about yet, it will distract me, and I don't want that to happen. Hi, Scott Baker. Glad you're here. So, Darren, where are you from? Oh, you're from Canada. I got it now. Andra knows that you're from Canada, so you must have said it. It goes by very fast, and I miss it sometimes in real time. Redneck Ways joins us. Hello, everybody. And Jay, I sent you you're live out via all my followers. I really appreciate that, Jay, and I should do the same for you. I've got to see what you're doing there in the gym and other places. Somebody suggested that when we start doing Zoom interviews, I interview you, and that is definitely a possibility. I don't have to put like a warning label on that one, do I? We'll do it pre-recorded because you're too scary for live. But I know you do a lot of live yourself, and I think you'd probably be, fine live. I think I could trust you. Um, Besides, some of the people that would really object don't seem to be here anymore. Yeah, right. um, Believe me, it's not like I've never heard Howard Stern. I don't think he was ever worth the kind of money Sirius XM paid him, because it hurts so many other programmers on Sirius XM. That they paid him so much money, more than he could ever spend in a lifetime. And Susan's here. How are you? Hi, Jack and family. Heard they played Elvis' song, If I Can Dream, at the Pennsylvania rally. Really? That's interesting. I think you're talking about President Trump then, right? President Trump, who some say is related to him. I've had that one. I'll keep it clean if we go live in an interview, Jack. Okay, first let me find out how to do this Zoom. I'm going to have Dandy Andy, also known as Red Bear, on Twitch with me when we try something like that, so he can mess around with it in real time if he has to, especially if I did it live. I'm not I've never done one on Zoom. I'll leave the locker room talk out, okay, for my channel. Yeah, you can say poopy head, something like that's all right. Yeah, it was a Trump rally. I'll probably carry it on Newsmax, right? I would like to see that. I'm sure I can find that. I guess they're going to have some kind of a meeting, all the candidates, including Trump, this coming week, right? Nikki Haley is chomping at the bit to try to get out of, less than 5%. Oh boy, there's so many now. It's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing, there's 3 or 4 people that people are noticing, and if you're Chris Christie, you're just looking for attention. As Mark Levin said about Chris Christie, he's a giant balloon of flatulence. Don't forget to get Mark Levin's book. I don't think it's quite out yet. The Democrats Hate America. The Democrats Hate America. Well, we're very honored that another man, and I've just loaded the Zoom, and I haven't done one yet, Dr. Guy, but we're closer. I think we're closer to actually doing it. Dr. Guy Chisholm is here from the wild city that never sleeps. They say New York never sleeps. I think it's really Las Vegas that never sleeps. Las Vegas, Nevada. Very good to see you again in the mix, Dr. Guy Chisholm. I love it when people come back. I do. Larry Hogan is here as well. As we said, I was just, you were home all day, Larry? Oh, okay. Reno area. Okay, why do I think Las Vegas? Reno. Yeah, that's an area that interests me. Now they have snow in Reno, correct, Dr. Guy? Hope to talk in person soon. Well, I'd love to come to Reno, but I'm going to have to get a lot of more. See, this is why I don't have a lot of more. I need a lot more hits and revenue to do that. But I know what you mean. I think you mean on Zoom. But yeah, I have no problem with coming to Reno, Nevada. I don't. I know that there's some great entertainment there as well. It's kind of like a subsidiary of Vegas in terms of entertainment. I'm going to see Mr. Las Vegas pretty soon in Sugarloaf, New York. He held that title for a long time. 81-year-old Wayne Newton on September the 1st. He'll be not too far from here. But yeah, to my UFO friend, we're close to Pine Bush, and I absolutely believe in their existence. And I want to do some Zoom interviews with people. I want to do some of the Art Bell stuff, because he had some wild people on. I want to do some things that, see, the only problem I face is the people that are into that stuff necessarily won't ever know it exists because they're not one of my subscribers. So spread the word, especially if you have a base like that, share, and I'll, when the time comes. Hope to talk to you soon. I do too, Dr. Guy. I'm sure once we find out your bio and what have you, I'm sure I will properly prepare and try to interact well with you. Got to prepare for an interview. I know that. I can't stand Chris Christie. Nobody likes him. He's just trying to get television time. That's the whole thing. I mean, he knows he's not going to get appointed to any cabinet. He knows that the Trump people now hate him and yell at him in the street. The Democrats are just fine and dandy with using him and putting him on the Communist News Network or MSDNC or one of those places. They're just fine with having him on there. Jake Tapper must want to give him a bear hug, but he can't get his hands that wide around. Geez, I don't know. Chris has always been weird, He's just always been weird. You want to like the guy? I tried to like him. I thought I did like him for a while, but he's just, when he wouldn't when he wouldn't change the medical marijuana laws, this kid was having seizures and dad was spending a fortune that he didn't have to take his son into other states so he could get medical marijuana treatment and stuff. When you find out that kind of stuff is going on and the governor won't do a thing about it, says, well, you don't know, there's a lot of red tape and stuff. No, you're the governor. You could make it happen. I don't hold him in contempt for closing a highway, but I do for that. I think that the Art Bell direction would be good for your channel, Jack. Yeah, I bet you used to listen just like me in the middle of the night. Were you listening in the 90s when Art was in his prime? Millions of viewers in the middle of the night. I got 13,000 followers on my social media accounts. If I tell them to follow you, they will. Well, that sounds groovy. Wait till I'm up a little more to prime, because right now they'd have to care just about the Bob Joyce topic, and I don't know. And that's the whole thing we're going to talk about tonight, my most popular topic. And boy, I have certainly been hearing from you. And of course, I always take that into consideration. There are people watching right now. I guarantee you, what movie did I see where the guy was saying, I guarantee you? It was in the last week or two. Somebody, or was it a comedian? I guarantee you. There are people expecting me tonight to say in this live broadcast, okay, I've changed my mind, which would probably mean that I came up with this just to stir up things to create more views. And none of that is true, but they would never believe me. Just like I don't believe that they act, under the anointing of the Holy Spirit. I think they got a lot of what's the word I want to say? Anger isn't really enough to describe it. I'll think about that. I tried to record myself singing while I was driving, but that was crazy dangerous. Hi, Carolyn. Andrew was trying to say I had seen Wayne Newton live. Well, okay. If I missed that. Yeah, so how was he? Did you like him, Andra? Um, did you enjoy the show? Cool, if that's the response. Well, I just thought, obviously he's a legend and he's coming so close. And I know he played a concert in the Hamptons not too long ago. So we're looking forward to that. About 46 watching right now that I can tell of. And ask a question, Dr. Guy, or tell me something about you if you want, or the viewers. I don't know if Vito has went to bed, because if Vito's still here, but definitely check out Vito Yazzo here on YouTube. Subscribe and like. Subscribe and like. Excuse me. So Certainly been an interesting time. I could miss the comments as I start to talk about stuff, but you are usually pretty good at talking amongst yourselves, and that's fine. That's what we're about here. That's what we're about. Sometimes I have to put on my Dollar Tree $1.25 glasses. I understand the Dollar Tree, I think I said this last week, may be coming more like that Five and Below store and offering more products that are two, three, $4, $5, that kind of thing. And that's fine with me. They'll still have their $1.25 stuff. They will. Um, well, so there was a lot of controversy with me saying that I was going to take a break from the Bob Joyce videos, take them down, although I would cover major breaking news. And there's been so much of it here in 2023. I mean, the number one programmer for major breaking news in the Bob Joyce Elvis topic is Bob Joyce. That's just the way it's been, but it's also been some of it by circumstances that have happened this year. Circumstances. So, the man did what he had to do. And I only speak of possibilities. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. That's called a disclaimer. That's called a disclaimer. So one of my favorite people still in the email was not happy with me even considering pulling the Bob Joyce videos, and he was saying that even if I am a one-trick pony, um, although we are getting quite a live following too, so that's a secondary thing, and that's fine. And we talk about a number of things here, even if the other videos, and I do many other topics, guys, they don't kind of get the hits that the Bob Joyce does. You can see it here; it's obvious. Every once in a while, something does better than another, even though that's true. There are people that are a zero trick pony, and I reached thousands of people doing Bob Joyce, about 250,000 total in views. If you add it all up, maybe a little more than that now. They keep growing. I have to remember that. So I should kind of accept being a one trick pony while still trying to do other topics. But some of the things as I contemplated being a one-trick pony is that it makes me committed to always searching for content that will stimulate the viewer to garnish hits. I would rather do something amazing, or probably based on an amazing guest on Zoom, for example, and be surprised at how well it was received. And then if they say, well, you did a good job in the interview, that's wonderful. But I would rather if it was someone that I was presenting that I think the audience may enjoy. If that gets a lot of hits, I would be very gratified by that. Number two, to forget about the and I have not pre-read my own writing here, to forget about the fact that I am speaking about an individual who I greatly admire and who may be the king of rock and roll or a close relative, he said. Yes, I say that. I do say that. Some of you say Jesse. I get that. I don't deal with the Jesse talk. I really never have. But I don't blame you if you do. And, I do have a video up here. Is he the son of Elvis? Is he really 70 years old, like all the naysayers say? And did Elvis have a love child in 1953 to some woman? We're going to talk about Tom Presley tonight, so don't go away. Tom Presley, never talked about him before. So this is what I've said from before. I don't want, as I say in the latest video, which is doing very well. I have a picture. What do I have in that thumbnail? I have the picture that Brenda sent me. It looks like perhaps from a bedroom in Graceland, and it appears to be Bob Joyce with a cane, maybe a little heavier version. With someone next to him. That could be Lisa Marie, could be Priscilla Presley. We don't know how old the photo is, but they're staring out a window. We get a lot of those from the back photos. I put up one You can check out all our stuff here, and you'll see another one where it appears. I was told that this is Bob Joyce walking in Vernon Presley's backyard, which I guess is next to Graceland. Is that true? I don't even know, but it's a picture of, we think, Bob Joyce. Pretty sure of that. And they say it's Vernon Presley's backyard. So we get a lot of that. When you blow it up, says Brenda, because she sent me this. Basically, you're saying when you blow it up, you can see clearly it's Priscilla. Yeah, that would have been my first choice, that it was Priscilla with Bob Joyce. But why would Priscilla be with a pastor from Benton, Arkansas? I don't understand that. Shame on me for noticing. Shame on me. Now, somebody else just puts up the picture, and I guess that's fine and dandy. Fine and dandy. But if you mention it and use English language, it could be another story. They don't like it. Ay, 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 ay. I feel so unloved sometimes by the folks in Household of Faith. Maybe I should go and see if they give me a nice hug, and Bob can say, can you take down those videos in person? And I would, which I've always said from 2018 on. See, some of the people that are like the person who was talking about the one-trick pony thing, and that I shouldn't be offended if that's true of me, that 3,100 subscribers are mostly here because of the Bob Joyce topic. I shouldn't be offended. You got to realize that I have been doing this years before you got here. You have discovered me in the last year or so, I think, maybe less, but I've been doing this for 2018, so I have a different kind of perspective on, I've been doing this for a long time, and even though he never responded to my offer to video call me on Facebook Messenger to tell me to take them down if he was displeased, even though he's not done that, I've had to deal with other people that go to the church. One in particular, old Popcorn Sutton, right? And I have nothing against him. But he doesn't like me, that's for sure. Doesn't like me. So anyway, there's that. Also, number 3, it makes me feel lazy and creatively, I can say this word, creatively dishonest, especially when I go fishing rather than simply acknowledging and covering what are blatant clues or blatant breaking news stories. There have been a number of breaking news, blatant stuff that, as the Elvis storyteller, because I'm really the only one who does this, who puts his face on it with any consistency, I would feel obligated to talk about it. I can't believe that they, if Pastor Bob, wonderful man, sits down at the piano to play and sing Can't Stop, I always want to say Can't Stop, Can't Help Falling in Love with You, the signature closing song for Elvis Presley. He knows he's getting a video on this. He knows that it's not just going to be me. All the picture guys are going to put up the actual church video, the full version, and they usually allow that at Household of Faith because it's promotion, right? It's promotion. More people hear the gospel, see Pastor Bob preach the gospel, etc., etc. See, if I shake too much, the camera starts to shake. The most amazing entertainment story of all times, I would say, the second greatest story ever told. And you think the mainstream media would cover that, but they don't. They don't. They think we're nuts, or, they do it for the same reason. The press knew very well that John F. K. was sleeping with any pretty woman that happened to have a pulse, and they never said anything. They never said anything. They loved John Kennedy that much. I see that last comment about Bob's wife, and I will stay away from that. I will stay away from that one. I'll talk to you in the email about that one. But and there's all this story that, well, it's Robert Wayne Joyce she's married to, and then did Robert Wayne pass away? And then I don't know. vain speculation I don't want to do because, I do enough of just talking about the stuff that they basically feed the media with, the Elvis programmers. They feed that. If you're going to get up there the Sunday after Lisa Marie's tragic passing and sing No One Stands Alone, you know that that's going to be commented on. You know it's going to be, since that's the very song that Lisa Marie did a tribute video of. She turned it into a duet. Early Elvis, well, not so early, maybe 70s Elvis, early 70s, singing No One Stands Alone, and then she joins in with him from a studio. It's very nicely done. And if you're going to sing that the Sunday after her passing, while the public memorial is going on, which you're not at, I get it, and possibly mutter into the microphone, "I love you, Yisa," which was the nickname for Lisa Marie. If you're going to do all that, it's going to be commented on. And, these household of faith members that say, "Oh, it's not true," and those who say he doesn't sound or look like him. Who are you trying to convince? It's like Sean Hannity trying to preach to the congregation, really, the converted, and try to tell them, well, Hillary bleach spit all her emails that they wanted to subpoena. You've said it a million times, Sean. You're only preaching to your people. Those other people aren't watching you, So I just I don't know why you bother, because you can say this in all the Facebook groups, as many do, and I know that they get pretty mad in the Facebook groups. I might read something that one of the people that started a group, yeah, you, Gail, I might read something that you said I thought was kind of amusing. Robbie Turner, huh? Where you from, Robbie? How are you? I'd love to know where you're watching us from. Welcome, welcome, welcome here to Worldwide Ramblings. We do this most Saturday nights, up to 53 people right now that I know of. And we always get quite a few in the replay. Gypsy Diamond, hi, Jack. Hello, everyone. I just came back from Graceland. Wow, I was there for 5 days with a great trip. I came home with an Elvis guitar. This is my 6th trip to Graceland. Feel free to email me when you get a chance this coming week, Gypsy, at Jack the Fair Guy, FAIR, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com, and tell me what your impressions were. Yeah, everybody, welcome Robbie. So glad. Oh, Bella Boo Kitty joins us. I love that name, Bella Boo Kitty. Haven't seen you in a while. Very glad you're here. And if you're watching Elvis, please call in. Oh, if you're watching Elvis, please call in, says Scott Baker. Call in. I'm not really ready to have a call in. He does have my cell phone number. Let me make sure this is up. Because sometimes I turn it down for the broadcast, but I forgot to. Nobody's really been calling me. What does that mean? Karen sent me an image, and it's the guy from the Psychedelic Furs with his girlfriend, Rich Good, from the Psychedelic Furs there. Rich Good lives in California, I believe, and we're going to see the Psychedelic Furs in at Foxwoods in Connecticut on September the 9th. Then we're going on to Rhode Island for a couple of days. It's a short, cheap trip for us. I found some really cheap rates. Karen's birthday is September 8th, and we will be at the Foxwoods Casino for that, probably at the Hard Rock Cafe, maybe, if that's what she chooses. So that's Rich Good, an incredible lead guitarist for the Psychedelic Furs. Please keep their saxophonist. He also plays several other kinds of horns. His name is Mars, and Mars has cancer. and they had a goal of, I think, $100,000 on GoFundMe, and they reached it. I think they reached it. Um, a lot of musicians don't have the best health insurance. It's just the way it is. So Mars has not been performing, and they have not replaced him. The organist is trying to make up for some of the sound, but can't wait to get Mars back. Just pray for Mars of the psychedelic furs that he is totally healed of cancer, if you can say a prayer for him. What an incredible talent he is. And Richard Butler loves when he's on the stage with him too, and his brother Tim Butler, of course, on the bass guitar. So we love the furs. We really, really do. Three Severed Heads checks in, my favorite serial killer. Second favorite. Dexter is my favorite. Dexter only killed the baddies, so I hope that's the same with you, Three Severed Heads. I hope if you've got three severed heads in your basement, that they're all baddies. The videos, is that what the Robbies join the keep up the good work, love you, brother, and saying please do not take down these videos, the world needs to see. Oh boy, I'm going to read some comments that I got on the latest thing I did this afternoon at 12:30, which probably in terms of comments and reaction is right up there, and in a short span of time, so many of you responded to it. And if I don't take them down, I look like a hypocrite. I look like I did this just to garnish more hits. See, when I saw that the Verdict 2 was not doing what I was hoping it would do, was doing okay, but it wasn't certainly looking like it was going to head to the 77,000 views, plus probably going on 78,000 views that the original Bob Joyce Elvis, The Verdict, got and is still getting. I said, well, the title's not good enough. So I changed it to something more provocative, because the last thing I talk about in The Verdict 2 is who preached Lisa Marie's private funeral, the actual funeral. And then I put /verdict 2. Well, then the video took off. As YouTube tells me, the title is important. The title is important. Marianne Rossi is still with us, talking to Brenda and Susan. We're in a heat wave, Jack. We have been, and it feels like a heat wave here in the studio. I should really go back and put the air conditioner up a little higher, because it's not coming on. It's kind of because we've cooled down. See, it feels the cool from the outside, where it's only 65 degrees now. We're going to have a nice day for the fair in Otisville. If I miss your comments in real time, it's just because I'm thinking of 1,000 things. Patricia Hansen joins us. Hello, Jack. As for Elvis /Bob, I think Lisa's life would have been much different if Pastor Bob was Elvis. However, like you say, I could be wrong. Well, I welcome all opinions here. I'm digesting what you just said. I used to joke that if Elvis was really alive, Michael Jackson would have died, but the night before he married Lisa Marie, not because of anything that you might think, considering race, because that's silly. God creates all people. That he doesn't make one race better than the other. No, because we all knew Michael was a real weirdo, and I think maybe even Lisa knew that wasn't going to last, but she went for it anyway. That it's fine. You, even for someone to say in the comment section, you're stupid or what have you, when you start threatening me in real time, that gets a little, that's over community standards. Of course, you take it down pretty quick, because you don't want to be held responsible. Of course, these all things are kept in a record anyway, and I have to screenshot these things right away. Really? Pastor Bob has another article in George Magazine? A pastor from Benton, Arkansas is writing for Gene Ho again, who goes to Household of Faith. Gene Ho, who used to be President Trump's campaign photographer. I bet you Gene Ho would be a wonderful interview. I'm probably the last person on earth he would ever do a Zoom interview with, but I would love to talk to George Ho. I really, really would. I probably have a better chance of winning the Mega Millions, which is now, I think, was it Monday or Tuesday? It's going to be a billion point five or something. A billion point five for Mega Millions, huh? Is that in your state? I know it's not every state, right? Like Powerball is not every state, right? Of course, Elvis loved black people. Absolutely. Well, hi, Greg Atkins. Hello, hello, hello. Got 59 now. Can we beat the number 73? That would be cool. I'd love to beat the number 73. Said I'd like to have the biggest audience ever tonight, and we have to beat. As I recall, I'm talking about in real time here because we usually get somewhere between 400 and 1,300 in the replay. I would love to see that. Scratching, coughing, and having to clear my throat. I didn't know why. I feel good. Feel good in my implantation state. Tuesday, I got to go to Westchester Medical Center for my post-op visit with Karen to see Dr. Naidu or Naidu. Some say. You say potato. I say potato. Actually, most people I know say potato, and most people say tomato. They don't say tomato. They say tomatoes. That guy was so bad, I wish I brought a bag of tomatoes to throw at him. That'll probably happen to me, right? In Benton, I don't know. Blue Sky Suns. We've heard from you before, one or two times. Hello. Where are you watching again from? Blue Sky Suns, if you've ever told me. I don't know. Glad you're here, Greg. Which video, Marianne? I don't know if you're talking to me or not. If I just put up a video this afternoon. What did I say is the title? I got short term. Ask me what happened in 1962. I'd have a better chance. But I put up a thumbnail of a man who appears to be Bob Joyce and a woman who appears to be Priscilla Presley standing in a room that appears to be possibly a bedroom in Graceland, looking out the window. Bob Joyce has a cane. Did Bob have an injury where he used a cane for a while? Somebody knows that out there, I know. Now it sounds like, I'm digging again, I'm just curious. I still think 2023 there's more breaking news coming in 2023. So even if I did pull the videos and, that's the planet right now, but boy, you are really coming down hard on me on that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the love and I appreciate you being enthused. I also appreciate it when people watch the other stuff, but I realize it's got to be a topic that what I'd love to have some suggestions on via email or even in the comments section of one of the videos is other topics that you would be interested in, besides now that means I'm going to do JFK Jr. He never died down there in the ocean, and do Michael Jackson. I can't do either one of those. My heart's not in it. I did a Paul McCartney video because I thought it was so many twists and turns. Joel Gilbert has a movie that you can see on Tubi. It was on Netflix. Paul McCartney really is dead. And it really, really is well done. Well done. It's supposed to be George Harrison speaking, but he supposedly recorded these cassette tapes, as he calls them, these mini cassette tapes in 1998. And the George Harrison that I'm hearing sounds younger than that. Not how he would have sounded in 98, but possibly how he would have sounded in 64, 65. So I'm not saying I believe Paul McCartney is dead or what have you, that he is really William Campbell. But man, when you watch that movie on Tubi and you think about it, there's a lot of clues. Now, Paul McCartney himself, if that is Paul McCartney, would say, and what we're saying here is that William Campbell turned out to be even more of a talent than Paul McCartney, who died in a car crash in 66. You know, he blew his mind out in a car. Sorry for the flat tone there. But I thought it was a fascinating story. There's a video on Paul McCartney up here, and I was watching the movie again this week and drawn into it. Drawn into it. Joel Gilbert is a big Bob Dylan fan. He calls his offices Highway 61 Revisited after a Dylan album. Hello, Mr. Monk. I'm glad you're here. I'm very glad you're here. Anybody else from the great state of Kentucky? We've certainly had a number of people before, Mr. Monk. And I love your detective work. You're a little neurotic for being a detective, though, aren't you? Larry Hogan, how can you tell who is in the photo when you only see the backside? LOL. Well, if you saw a picture of Kim Kardashian from the back, would you know it was her? I don't know why I said that, Larry. You must be a bad influence on me or something. Well, this goes back to the time we think that Bob and Matt Joyce were at Glenn Klein's funeral in Memphis, Tennessee. You know, you're going by a backhead view. Sure looks like Bob and that one that I have up on the thumbnail. But am I positive? No. Could be Robert Wayne Joyce with Priscilla. I don't think so. No. One big flag is the original Paul was shorter. After the crash, Paul is quite a bit taller. Yeah, they sure go through a lot of stuff in that movie. Paul McCartney is really dead, you know. I talk about it in the video here. But there's a lot of things and a lot of clues. Trying to think of some of the highlights that I kind of talked about. Anyway, to finish talking about, and there's only one more, I think, from the thing where one of my viewers, not sure where they watch, was saying that it's not so bad to be a one-trick pony, just like the guy who only had one hit record. You know, if you say Benny Mardones, you know, and you have one hit, you can play off that hit all your career. I mean, I'm going to see Mr. Las Vegas. Wayne Newton, he had two hits. He almost was a one-hit wonder. He had Dunka Shane, darling Dunka Shane. Thank you for not being an awful. Well, you rhyme it. I know Larry could. Why am I doing this? I don't know. But anyway, but then he found this song called Daddy Don't You Walk So Fast in the 70s. And Wayne Newton shows up at the record company. He doesn't have a recording contract, I don't think, anymore, you know. But then again, he is Mr. Las Vegas, so maybe Wayne Newton Live, something like that, would sell some copies, wouldn't it? So maybe. So he shows up with Daddy Don't You Walk So Fast, and he's already done it, you know. He's got it on demo. And they sit there and they listen and they say, well, Wayne, it's a nice song, but, you know, they're not singing about that stuff today. Of course, Elvis had Don't Cry Daddy. That links into Tom Presley, maybe. We're going to talk about Tom Presley. Don't go away. My pictures and stuff. Don't go away. Keep watching. Let's get that past 54. But so he plays Daddy Don't You Walk So Fast, and they're not thrilled with it. He has to beg and say, you know, this is going to be a hit. I'm telling you, it's going to be a hit. Finally, they said, all right, Wayne, we will release Daddy Don't You Walk So Fast. It is his only number one record. It was number one for a few weeks. Big hit for Wayne Newton. Daddy, don't you walk so fast. My daughter cried, Daddy, don't you walk so fast. Daddy, slow down some. You're making me run. Daddy, don't you walk so fast. Send money and I'll never sing again. I promise you. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Bellaboo Kitty. Good night, Mr. Monk. Did I say something? You didn't mind that I pointed out that you're a detective, did you? I hope not. Oh, Shalhoub, Mr. What's his first name? Tony Shalhoub? He was so great in Galaxy Quest, this actor who played Monk. Terrific. I'm glad you stopped by, Mr. Monk. Thank you for doing that. Watch the replay too. Who's Tom Presley? Well, we're going to talk about it, Joseph Kelly, but not quite there yet, you know. And I know you got to go to work. You're a working man, you are, and you work on Sunday. As Joanne Cooper Troop and her hubby work on the weekends, taking what they're given. So I'm working for a living. Yeah. You want me to go to Tom Presley now? All right, I will for you, Joseph Kelly. I will. He's a singer. You can find him right here on YouTube. Um, Picture that if in the early 50s, Elvis Presley had a baby with Dennis Quaid's considerably older sister. Consider that. All right, hold on. I wish I had this loaded, but I don't. You would end up with Tom Presley. Tom Presley. There he is. Look at the hair, huh? Reminded me of Dennis Quaid. Really did. But even more so, this picture reminds me of Dennis Quaid. Tremendously so. The great Dennis Quaid, who's a good conservative man. And first saw him in the night the lights went out with Georgia when I was fawning over Christy McNichol, who I was an extra in that movie, Blinded by the Light. That's Tom Presley. And now you want to see him as a kid? You want to see Tom Presley as a kid? Okay. This could be him. Could be. I speak of possibilities. Don't shoot the messenger. Is that Tom Presley right there? Who's that person next to him? I don't know. You know, people say this, just possibilities. I speak of possibilities, ladies and gentlemen. People always talk about one or two daughters that he may have had besides Lisa Marie. What about this gentleman right there, huh? So, yeah, I thought, wow, this guy looks like Dennis Quaid. He really, really does. That's Tom Presley. And the big thing is that when we talk about the Lisa Marie private funeral, which was either on the 27th or 28th, I'm doing this off the top of my head, of January, the possibility of who preached that funeral in Memphis, Tennessee. I was given a service card, which I haven't shown. I'm not going to show tonight. Could be fake. But the third name down in terms of the order of the service to participate, sing a song, was Tom Presley. At the Lisa Marie funeral. You know, I get chastised, but all this stuff, you know, is out there. And the mainstream media, I'm starting to sound like Hannity now, or one of the other conservative voices. The mainstream media never covers it. Now Larry's saying they had only one child. Well, Larry, I just gave you the information that I have. How would you know that Elvis had only one child? That a man was sexually active and had a lot of girlfriends back in the day, never accidentally got someone else pregnant. Now, how would you know that? Tell me, Larry. Tell me, brother Larry. Preach it. I mean, it would be obvious that could happen easily. It could happen easily. I'm on the pill. Not really. Mike Fortner joins us. Those boys in the picture may have been Elvis's stepbrothers, Danny and David. Yeah, I speak of possibilities, Mike. I'm not drawing any conclusions. Yeah, the one person is it Deborah Presley. She goes by the name Deborah Presley. She certainly looks like a Presley, but Hey, I'm not drawing any conclusions on that. You were just here to have fun because the Do Run Run. I bet you did like that Sean Cassidy, didn't you, Kathleen? The Do Run Run, or were you more of a Donny Osmond guy, or maybe David Cassidy, or 80-year-old Bobby Sherman? Bobby Sherman, happy birthday, 80 years old. My goodness. Imagine you get hurt in Los Angeles and the ambulance comes, paramedic comes, and your paramedic, one of them is Bobby Sherman. That's gotta freak you out if you were around at that time. Um, yeah, Melissa, that's fine, and um, Patricia would join you in that, and that's cool. I bet Gene would do an interview. Gene would do an interview. Oh, Gene Ho, I think he would see me as he would find that as something that would be offensive to Bob if he did an interview with me. I know he's part of the MAGA movement, big time, just like Mike Lindell. They all hang out together. I'm a big Mike Lindell fan. That doesn't mean I, endorse every data he spouts or what have you. Most people don't know that Mike Lindell doesn't just do My Pillow commercials and make millions of dollars. He speaks at, a lot of Trump functions and Republican functions, and you could even say some conspiracy. I don't want to say hearings, but events. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, sandy blonde hair. Elvis had sandy blonde hair, but then of course started dyeing it black forever. So those are just possibilities there. But I do have to say the fact that someone sends me a service card, which could be fake, which we talk about in the verdict too. And on that verdict card is Tom Presley. That's another amazing coincidence to me. I have so many coincidences. I have no more room left to put them in me closet. You know what I'm saying? So what can I tell you? So we did this video. Let me go to that on the phone here. Go to my channel on the phone. And, because we've been talking about on the 7th of August, taking the videos down. Doesn't mean I wouldn't cover major breaking news, but I did this video. Oh, here I am in the current, I've never seen this before, live right now. See? Here we are. So there is that. 58 people. If you haven't said hello, let me know who you are and where you're watching from. I just lost one. It was probably Larry. No, I'm just kidding. But I put up a video, Bob Joyce / Elvis videos, Fury over an end date. I heard from so many of you. What else has more of a degree of it? Here I am talking. And let's see here. My goodness. Susie Young says, don't let them get to you, Jack. Bob is all over the internet as being Elvis Presley. Keep up the good work. 17 likes. Nancy DeMarco, you're here right now. Jack is spreading the possibility, and that brings more people to hear the word through Pastor Bob. 9 likes. Dave Mitchell, TCB. If you're watching, Dave Mitchell, you don't always speak. Elvis will forever be the king of gospel music. Brother Bob is the king of preaching. Good for him. We need more. We need him more than ever. The haters are going to hate. 10 likes. Debbie Inglis. Bob drops hints in the services. If you didn't want it, if he didn't want it, he wouldn't drop the hints. I watch you as you're very good, and what you do. See, this is like too much patting on the back here, and I don't mean it for that purpose. And love listening to you like others in the chat. Yeah, Gene Phillips. Jack, don't let the haters get to you. Don't give them power. Don't give them power. Margaret writes in, I'm a fan since 59, so nobody will change my mind. God forgave him, so we must also forgive him. Thank you, Jack. I enjoy your stories. Absolutely. The blood of Christ is available for everyone. This blood's for you. Here's a new one. TV Bridge. There's not many places where people who believe Bob is Elvis reborn can talk about it, so please keep this topic going. We love Bob and your own meanderings. I like that. My own meanderings. Deborah Lake is here. I think she's also here. Do what you feel the Lord wants you to do. Very good point. But don't let anyone steal your joy. You are great at telling the story. I would rather watch you than the media any day. Katina, God knows everything, and the judge is the judge of everyone. He's the only one that matters. We need to stay close to him. Good word. You never talk bad about Bob. You know, I never do. And I take away the comments of people that do. It's really up to you if you feel you want to end doing the videos. Miss Mellows, hello, Miss Mellows. She sometimes is here live with us. Hi, Jack. You keep doing what you're doing, what you do, which is fantastic. And thank you, Three Severed Heads. And Andra commented, and it goes on and on. Susan. You have good choices when you talk about him and those kind of things. Sandra Millet, I'm so thankful for all of you. So thank you for all of you. So that's a sampling from the last video, which jumped ahead of the promo for this live broadcast to 633 hits or something in a few hours. For a promo, that's, you know, well, it wasn't a promo, it was a video, but a short one, you know. February of 72, Elvis went on strong high blood pressure medicine. It knocked his sexual activity in the dirt. Why do you think he got depressed and shot TVs? Well, his temper was legendary, and when he didn't like somebody, he didn't like someone, he didn't like those liberals. He didn't like those liberals, and it was just, you know, he was on prescription medications. Yes, I'm sure high blood pressure was likely one of them. I can't comment on the sexual life of Elvis Presley, except to remember what Albert Goldman wrote in his 400-page book talking about those years. And he would say that Elvis was sexually active well past 72, you know, the year year 1972. So again, you know, I would only be speculating, but you're right about high blood pressure, Larry. Yeah, we know about that, right? Can't take those blue pills. It'll lower your blood pressure to an unsafe level, you know, unsafe level. Oh, yeah, men know about that. The Stanley brothers were Billy, David, and Ricky. The Stanley brothers, okay. Jacqueline King joins us. Hi, Jack and family. I'm here watching on my big screen. Yeah, I like that. I look better on the big screen because they light it up more, you know. Go to the YouTube on your smart TV. That's always a good deal. I don't know how you comment on that because, again, I'm illiterate when it comes to these things. Like they have when I'm watching on the big screen, they want me to take the survey. Have you heard of A, B, C, D? And I never know how to do it. So I just hit the button and it skips it, you know. Donna, I'm sorry, Marianne Rossi says, we are believers like you, so we believe Bob is Elvis, so we don't feel crazy here talking about it. Yeah. This is that kind of place. It's a safe place. Funny you mentioned the word Pedro, the name Pedro, because I have a video up here. Did Elvis have help in faking? Was Elvis inspired to fake his death? And we talk about Pedro Infante, who may have inspired Elvis. He might have thought back to what Pedro did when he faked his death because he was in trouble with some people, you know. But he was a legend in his time, and we actually play a Pedro Infante song, which means it can't be monetized, but that's okay. That's okay. 67 now. Is that degrees or your age? I'm 67 now. I'm always 67 now until next March 21st. Next March 21st. Oh, almost at 74 viewers. I didn't see that. I see 67. So I wasn't paying attention. I am probably have to stay for detention now. Yes, hit the like button. See, Jacqueline King knows. Hit the like, and please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps us get to more viewers, whether you're watching in the replay or whether you're not. Whether you're not. Yeah, I appreciate that admonition. Admonition. Already we're up to an hour and 9 minutes. Time really flies during this. And since it's cool outside, the air conditioner is not really kicking on. It's just, it's not, it's on, but it's not blowing air conditioned air at me, unfortunately. Because it is down to, it's not here now. It's about 64 degrees right now. And it's been, in the well into the 70s at night. I know some of you have had much warmer than right. Like the sunflowers, they match your hair. Yeah. See, I haven't put a fresh coat of paint on my hair because it's hot and what have you. And I was toying with the idea of letting it go white because that's what it would be. You can see it here. But I'm just not ready to do it. But I did realize, wow, it's getting pretty thin back here. So I've started to push it back more and part it in the middle, but then it goes to the side anyway. I guess I didn't put enough of that VO5 on. Yes, I still use aerosol. I'm sorry. What do you expect from an old Republican? We don't care anything about the environment, right? Going to do 3 minutes of politics soon. So if you don't like politics, just talk amongst yourselves. It doesn't go on for long. This is not a political video, but there are people that enjoy 3 minutes of politics, and both in the replay and here, mostly maybe in the replay. I don't know. Oh, here's someone new. Infirm Tech. So when you're infirmed, no, that's not the way you're spelling it, though. Oh, you're 109 years in Vegas? Well, you've lost a ton of money then, haven't you, during your life? Where are you from? Are you really from Las Vegas? We had Dr. Guy Chisholm here. He 109 degrees. Oh, yes. But it always cools down in the evening in Las Vegas, doesn't it? It'll be like 109 during the day or worse, and then it'll cool down somewhat nicely in the evening. Just did the same thing when I lived in Hollywood, California guy. Jack used Claro medium brown spray that washes out on your head. Yeah, but it's a temporary color, right? I'd be spending a fortune. I think I showed it once. I use the, what do I use? The green package. Oh, that's scary. When we talked about, I hope you watched the videos on the defibrillator. And if you know anyone who's thinking of having one or may need one because they have cardiomyopathy or AFib, please tell them about it. But they say that there can be memory loss that can kind of work itself out over a year. But I've had my senior moments anyway, so how could I really tell unless it was really, really obvious, And I would do a video on that if it was, because I said I would. I've done 2 videos on that, both during the pre-implantation and the post-implantation. So if you know anyone with heart failure, the thing about cardiomyopathy, as I've said before, is many people are walking around, don't know they have it. They don't know they have it. Linda. Hello, Linda from Templeton, Ohio. Templeton. I've heard of Templeton, but I can't match the state with it. All kinds of untrue stories were made up on Elvis, sadly, about his career because the older people of the time wanted to destroy his reputation. Well, Albert Goldman wrote many books, and he was known to be fair. He was not an Elvis fan, though. It's true. He was not an Elvis fan, but, you have to take every fact or every proposed statement. And, you know, don't make the mistake of what the people who don't believe Bob is Elvis, or they're the Elvis protectors, that kind of thing. Don't make that mistake of doing anything blanket. So if I tell you 10 different things, you have to research 10 different things before you make a judgment call. Otherwise, you know, there's no validity. Um, some things I can say, yeah, I believe that. And some things I can say it's a possibility. It's one of those possibilities. I can tell you one thing: there's way too many coincidences for there to be no fire along with the smoke. There's fire. There's absolutely fire. And I cover different bases, just to kind of be fair, including the one video I have, which, well, maybe Bob isn't Elvis, because it does cause a whole lot of people to have to tell untruths if he is. And I don't know, that leaves me unsettled. Unsettled. 64 people watching now that I can tell. Please subscribe and like. I'm looking at some of the comments here. Upstate New York, huh? Okay. So I'm in the lower Hudson Valley. How far are you from me, Linda? How far away are you? Are you like in the Syracuse area, the Binghamton area? Are you up in Western New York? I got my start in Fredonia, New York, in radio back in 1977. I'm very glad you're here with us. Yeah. But medium brown, yeah. If you leave it on for 20 minutes, you end up looking like Elvis almost, But yeah, I think I'll keep applying it, because, Jimmy Sturr is well past 67, and the man still looks very much like Jimmy Sturr. He doesn't look like he looked when he was 24, of course not. But he, without doing a facelift, doing some kind of rejuvenation perhaps, and, obviously dyeing his hair, he still very much looks like Jimmy Sturr. And I see people that are 63 years old. Now, some people look great with white hair, look great with silver hair. You're just, anybody watch John Roberts on Fox News? There's a perfect example. He looks great with white hair. But I wouldn't, I don't think. I just look like washed out. So I'm looking at your comments, and why not go blonde, Jack? I have done that, Three Severed Heads. I don't know. I like the darker eyebrows, and yeah, but brown, unless it's very light brown, is otherwise it looks kind of harsh, kind of looks kind of harsh. So I'll consider that. Yeah. Karen stays a redhead. She was a redhead in 65 when I met her, 64, 65. And she's a redhead today, but as she would admit, she has a little help now. She has a little help. 3 minutes of politics. Talk amongst yourselves if this is not your cup of tea. But there's so many crazy things going on in our world. And oh, you're a ginger, are you? Very cool, Linda. There's so many crazy things going on in this world. Do we get to meet Karen, says Melissa Gergen, every Saturday? I said, so you're coming up tonight, right? You're going to join the broadcast? She's probably asleep by now. But we come on at 11 o'clock. She could come on for a while. I always get the I'm too shy and that kind of thing. So I keep trying, and maybe she would do a pre-recorded. I really want that to happen. I really, really do. Getting ready to do 3 minutes of politics, but first I must do Rose Drops. I believe that Bob is the former Elvis. There is just too much evidence to say that he is. To say that he is it's come to the point now that I need evidence to say he's not the former Elvis Presley. Okay, I see what you're saying, Rose Drops. Yeah, there's just too many coincidences. There's just too many coincidences. And, um, there's more people out there doing the picture videos and the roll-in videos than ever. But they like me the least because when you lay it out chronologically, um, yeah, I'd love to have her come on, Brenda. I really, really would. I would love to have her join me here. Somebody new, Felice Cooper. It would be amazing if Bob came out and admitted to being Elvis. The coincidences are so strong. Hi, Felice. Welcome. Where are you watching from? I'm glad that you have joined us for the first time that I know of. So he does that. And the national media now that may have been ignoring this. Thank you for the likes of 40. Please like, please subscribe. The national media descends on Benton. His time as the pastor of the household of faith is now over. He cannot live in the house anymore that he's lived in. He's got to rush to probably, I would say, the Elvis Hotel in Memphis and go up to one of the top floor suites. And now he'll be a prisoner there. Can't ride his pickup truck anymore that he likes to do. The things I'm telling you now are the things that the Elvis protectors would say, well, you aren't helping there, Willard. You're not helping, you know. Because he likes to do these things and likes to be the pastor of a small church while having a worldwide media ministry. It's kind of weird, but it has worked for him, and that's got to be the work of the Holy Spirit. So, this is why I have these thoughts of taking a break and taking down the videos, but as I just read, a lot of you don't want me to do that. By the way, if you listen to Tom Presley, he does do Can't Help Falling in Love with You. And the way he says the word can't is noticeably different. So watch Tom Presley singing Can't Help Falling in Love with You. And you'll probably enjoy that. Larry Hogan. Have I misunderstood you all this time that you don't think Bob is Elvis, Larry? Did I just assume that? How do you explain that Bob was born in Texas in 1954? Rosebud. I think you're talking about 1953, and you're talking about Robert Wayne Joyce, the father of Matt and this is interesting. Matt and Sabrina, and someone told me there's a third kid named Tom. It gets crazier all the time. I've shown, if you watch the 21 Coincidences, why Bob Joyce is maybe Elvis. I show a number of pictures, both young and old, of Robert Wayne Joyce. When he was young, he didn't look that much like Elvis. As he grew older, he did, but not as handsome. And that he was the one who married Willina in Texas in the 70s. And we've told this story. So maybe all this time, Larry, and that's fine. I assumed you did believe Bob was Elvis, and maybe you don't. So that's who I believe. If there's a 70-year-old man, it's Robert Wayne Joyce. It's Robert Wayne Joyce, because that's what he would be. With that, I can't do the math in real time, but I've done this before, and I think that adds up. They were married in Texas, and then moved to Arkansas. And so 21 Coincidences why Bob Joyce may be Elvis kind of tells that story the best, I think. But I've shown him before. I don't have Robert in front of me now. Pictures, though, and I'm supposed to be doing my 3 minutes of politics, but hold on, I'll get to that for the few that might care about another topic. Most people think that this is Willina with Elvis Presley when he was in the service. They think this is Willina Hattie, who became Willina Joyce. Obviously, when she would have gotten married, he was very much being busy being Elvis still. And she was in plenty of photos, not just a fan. She's in over a dozen photos with him in various locations. She was his girlfriend. I think we can say that. Many people think it's Walina. I speak of possibilities. Maybe this is Walina's mom. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And then we have Bob and Walina right here. Bob and Walina right here. But that is not to be confused, I believe, with Robert Wayne Joyce. Um, I'm just looking for something here. So Bob Joyce, you say, is in another. Um, yeah, I put that photo away. I think not prepared for that. Okay, got one. The wedding photo with Sabrina. I speak of possibilities. I could be wrong. I think that's Robert Wayne Joyce right there. Look in the eyes. Look in the eyes, Larry. And I think you see a different man. And that's not the best example I have by any means. But they're all in the 21 coincidences why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. I think that's Robert Wayne Joyce, not the current pastor of Household of Faith. Just my opinion. So all this time, Larry, I have not picked up on this, that you don't think Bob is Elvis. I'm shocked. But I'm glad you're here. So it's hard to read your comments. I'm going to do 3 minutes of politics. 3 minutes of politics, because, our world is on the verge of World War III, perhaps. Our economy is still in serious trouble, and we have these congressmen that are playing scoundrels in the Congress, all on the Democratic side. Not that there's not some rhinos on the Republican side, and not that all Republicans that are hardcore are great people either. I'm not saying that either. His voice is exactly the same as Elvis. Nancy DeMarco says, I agree. But, when you get past, well, we're well past 60 coincidences now. If you can't see it, then that's fine. But I'm more confident than I've ever been that he's either Elvis or a very close relative of Elvis. I would go with Elvis, though. That's my personal opinion, for what it's worth, by Buffalo Springfield. I know you know that song, Larry. So we got these Georgia congressmen, and Hank Johnson. Oh, what a piece of work he is. I mean, take Martin Luther King and all the character he had, but flaws. I'm aware that he was a flawed man too, Martin Luther King, but he was also a wonderful preacher who loved the Lord. He failed God sometimes, like we all did, and made some mistakes, but he had this wonderful message of unity, and little black babies playing with little white babies, and the I Have a Dream speech, of course, and he left us way too young. But he had a lot of character, and he worked very hard for unity, and he had godly principles. Well, to me, the opposite of that, my personal opinion, would be Hank Johnson, who for one thing, wants to pack the Supreme Court with 13 seats so that the Democrats could never lose another vote. I mean, my goodness, they can't so easily kill a 9-month-old baby anymore. Isn't that terrible, Hank Johnson? And so the Fox reporter tracks him down because, they're talking about impeaching Biden. Well, this would only be in the House. It would never actually happen because it would die in the Senate. They know that, but they want to make a statement here and bring out all the crimes of what they call is the Biden crime syndicate. You hear Mark Levin and Sean Hannity say that term all the time. Their words, really, not mine. So she asked him about all this information that's coming out on the Biden family and all the what looks to be influence peddling. And he says to the reporter as he's trying to hurry away, "Why should we want to impeach the president when he's done nothing wrong?" Any piece of information that doesn't fit the progressive woke agenda, they don't want to know about it. And totally unqualified to be in the Congress because they took an oath to uphold the Constitution, not go pee-pee on it. You know what I mean? Don't get me started. Um, but so people like him and Adam Schiff and James Clyburn, Al Green. Oh my goodness, nothing like the Reverend Al Green, you know. And of course, Hakeem Jeffries. These are a brood of vipers, and Jerry Nadler is right in there with them. And I could call out some female congressmen, congresswomen too, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, for example. How did we ever get this brood of vipers in the United States Congress? We got it by stupid people voting them in. What the heck is going on in the state of Pennsylvania? You put a man in an empty brain man in a suit to be your senator, and you've got mayors, you've got a congressman. Can't call out the name right now, but all reprehensible. And I thought Pennsylvania was smarter than that. But it just you see so many weird things going on. They thought that they were going to easily have Hunter Biden get this sweetheart deal that nobody, you and I, would never get, after he has not reported millions of dollars in his taxes and has done what looks like to be influence peddling with his father in China and the Ukraine. No wonder we keep giving billions of dollars to the Ukraine, which is a bombed out shell. And they thought the judge would rubber stamp that, but she wouldn't do it. She said, well, this is still a continuing investigation, for one thing, you know? And they were trying to get it so he couldn't be held for accountable for anything that would come out in the future. And she just wasn't having it. And it made me feel good that there's some sanity left here. Could you imagine if this was Donald Trump Jr.? He wouldn't be getting any sweetheart deal, or Eric, you know, there'd be no sweetheart deal for them. Bob, 1974, totally agree. What do you totally agree on, the politics or something else? Yeah, there will be people that feel that Bob Joyce is an Elvis, and you're welcome here, and that's fine. Bob 74 says, I guess Bob Joyce must have been awfully upset Lisa died. I didn't see him at the funeral. You weren't at the funeral, and they didn't broadcast the funeral, Bob. You saw the public memorial. Where Pastor Bob Joyce sang "No One Stands Alone." There go my $1.25 specs. The very song that Lisa Marie used as a tribute. You of all the songs he could have picked to sing, thousands and thousands of songs, he did it during praise time, which is not. It's not a praise song. It's something that you would probably do during the offering. He doesn't take an offering. He has a box in the back, I'm told. You can put something in it if you want to. He did seem somewhat upset, especially as he gave everything he had when he sang "No One Stands Alone." He gave it all he had. Many people feel he mumbles into the microphone, "I love you, Yisa," which was the nickname for Lisa Marie Presley. He went into a little. I have a video on this as he's singing the end of "No One Stands Alone" right here at the virtual church, and he seems to channel Elvis for a bit. He seems to channel Elvis. So it was a week or so later, the 27th or the 28th of January, the private funeral. It was on a Saturday. You had to sign. It was family and friends only. Trying to find your handle again, Bob, 1974. It was family and friends only. You had to sign. This is reported by TMZ, who reported the initial story, then seemed to drop the ball. You had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. No photography, no cell phone, no nothing allowed in to the service. You could not talk about what you saw at this video. I was given a card. I was emailed a card on the service order. So I see the name of the person who officiated, who preached the service, who gave the eulogy. I see the name on the card. I'm not showing the card, but I see it. Could it be faked? Absolutely. I see Tom Presley's name on the card singing a song, and of course Austin Butler sang that at that service as well. This was for family and friends when they actually buried her. TMZ said, we thought Lisa Marie was actually buried already. Turns out, no, that'll be at the private funeral. They said the 27th. It might have been on the 28th. Some people thought it was on a Friday. Some people thought it was on a Saturday. I'm not sure which. They might have tried to throw people off there. So, you know, that's what I would say to you about that. If you watch the verdict 1 and 2, you'll see all the coincidences that we talk about. Just the very fact that he's saying no one stands alone. You've got I'm not saying the odds of him singing that are like the Powerball winning odds or the Mega Millions, but they're astronomical. They're astronomical that he would pick that song, you know. And then you can go through the 21 coincidences, which are now easily 50 coincidences. You got to explain away every one. You got to explain away every one. There's never been a story in my lifetime where this many things came together. I don't have to stretch to get them. They're right there sometimes. And you have a pastor from Benton, Arkansas, that has now written 2 national magazine articles for George Magazine. You have everything that we talk about from the time when we believe Elvis faked his death with help from the Witness Protection Program or the FBI in general, and why he did that, on and on and on. I don't have to explain away his age because there's 2. There's Robert Wayne Joyce, who is 70 years old, and there's Elvis Presley, who would be 88 years old. We show close-up pictures of him where he does look older than 70 years old. But, you know, if the lighting is right and maybe he touches up and has treatments, they do a thing called a skin rejuvenation thing that makes you look younger. He would have access to all that. People that tell me that he doesn't look 88, which is like the number one thing, I say that to me it's a strong possibility. Dick Van Dyke doesn't look 98, but he is. And I could point to other people as well. What are you saying, Larry? Bob Joyce is an excellent preacher and a man of God at this point in his life. If you follow him or listen to him for any other reason than his preaching of God's word, you need salvation. Okay. Larry, Pastor Bob would say, if you're coming here for any other reason, you're coming for the wrong reason. If it's not here to hear the preaching of the word. But Larry, now you're all of a sudden you're coming at me with Mr. Holy. You know, we're seeing that side of you, and that's great because that's good. You know, stand up for the word of God and what have you, but don't insinuate that if you happen to notice all these coincidences and what have you, and you happen to be a fan of Elvis Presley, shame on you for noticing all that. You can not look at it, explain it away, and you can totally disagree. But you know, there are thousands and thousands that believe that Bob is Elvis. That's what they believe. And I've covered the other bases, the other possibilities as well. But yeah, if I went to Household of Faith, Larry, I would be there to praise the Lord. I would be there to listen to what the man has to say. I sometimes listen to his sermons, and I want to be fed. Yeah, Yeah, that's far more important. The King of Kings and Lord of Lords is far more important than the King of Rock and Roll, whether he be living or dead. I certainly agree with you on there. Deborah Lake, I read on Facebook. If you sometimes it's hard to read these live. If you get his CDs, you get Bob's signature if you order them directly from the church. Is that what you're saying? Uh, and if you look at it in the black light, it shows EP signature. Oh, there's a wild comment. Black light. Yes. Remember black light? You're not going to talk about backward masking. If you listen to this Bob Joy song backwards, you hear, because John Lennon developed the backward masking. He did. So it's, it's interesting. So if you believe that Elvis faked his death and became Bob Joyce, then you must believe that Bob 74, you're saying things that I've heard 50, 60 times. I know you think you're hitting me with something that, oh, gee, how am I going to respond to that? I never thought of that. That he abandoned his relatives and closest friends. I don't believe Elvis was that type of man. What are you saying, abandoned? In 1977, he was very close to death. He was. He did have the things they talk about, constipation, the bowel issues, and what have you. He did have that, and so did Lisa Marie. So he was addicted to prescription drugs. He was grossly overweight. He was very near death. What we are saying is the possibility that he was rescued from this death and went out of the country for 3 or 4 months. 3 or 4 months. Bob Aitchison, who was commissioned to do a report on Elvis faking his death, said that he went to Argentina. That shortly after the funeral, a military helicopter took him from the back lawn of Graceland to a private plane. He went under the name of John Burroughs. He went to someplace like Argentina. I think he said Argentina. 3 or 4 months to be made well in mind, body, and spirit, till he had lost the weight, till he had kicked the habit of prescription drugs that Dr. Nick prescribed, etc., and then came back to Lisa Marie. And his closest friends. And that's when the Elvis sightings started. And there were a lot of them in the 70s and 80s and beyond. So, I guess you've got a kindred spirit, Larry Hogan. Hey, I learned something new tonight. I didn't know that, but that's fine. Yeah, rehab. Right, Brenda. That's what we would say. But this was a high-end rehab, because he had a lot of issues. I speak of possibilities. I could be wrong, but, I have never heard of a story like this. You really have to go through all the many coincidences and explain all of them away. To me, it reaches the unfathomable plateau, the unfathomable plateau. It's really great, Larry, though, that you have been comfortable here not believing it, and until tonight, I don't think, unless I missed it, you would, that you have said it before. Patricia Hansen, I disagree. Elvis was never greatly overweight. There are people that get offended. I called him, was it grossly overweight once, something like that? And people said, how dare you say that? Well, what prescription drugs do is they blow you up, these prescription drugs. So that definitely adds to an appearance of being overweight. Albert Goldman talks that in the concerts, he would literally wear a girdle that would push his stomach in so it didn't look as big as it really was. And that, he was over 300 pounds. So, yeah, I have heard people say he wasn't that heavy, and that 4 months ago he wasn't that heavy. So I have heard that too. So that's another thing that people have said. Linda says Elvis always wanted to be a preacher while he was singing, and his wife even said on the Oprah show that he would be preaching to people, and that's Bob, because Elvis had to change his name. He had the money to do so. He certainly does and still does. And the other big revelation this week, and I never fact checked this, but it's probably right because it would be just too much of a coincidence. It was Robert F.X. Sillerman who bought the rights to the name Elvis Presley. Priscilla sold it for millions of dollars. Does this sound right, people? But when I heard the name Robert F.X. Sillerman, I couldn't believe it because that's my ex-radio boss. Right here in the city I'm broadcasting to, he wanted to have a chain of radio stations. This goes back into the late 70s, into the 80s. Of course, he would buy more radio stations in bigger markets. But he was a multi-millionaire then, and his partner was the legendary Cousin Brucey, who's still on WABC Music Radio 77 at 87 years old, and was also my boss. And I've told these stories before. I'm not going to tell them now, but knowing Bob Sillerman as I do, how he was then, he would never deny Elvis Presley from using the name again. He would never do that. He might want to cut. It's business, Elvis, you understand, but he would never say to the king of rock and roll, you can't use that name again. No, I own it. No, he wouldn't do that. No. Bob's a really cool guy. Interesting man, I have to say. And, having him come into the studio when I was doing my 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. show scared the hell out of me, especially since he was coming in to say he was unhappy with something that I told the story in the last video. You can watch the last live show, or is it one of my other pre-recorded videos? One of the last two, but I tell the story. I would tell it again if enough people wanted to hear it, but I think you've heard it. Linda Templeton, Priscilla and Elvis were divorced. Priscilla remarried and has a son named Navarone. And Elvis was such a hot seat, says Susan. Greg Atkins, I like that comparison video. Yeah, there are people that do that. I've seen today where Pastor Bob Joyce was singing How Great Thou Art and Elvis singing How Great Thou Art, and there's no doubt he's Elvis. A lot of people would say when he 2011 at Denton's in Benton, Denton's nightclub, where he's with Matt Joyce, who calls who calls Bob Joyce daddy, that when he went to his highest range, there was no doubt. The comparisons to be no smoke, for there to be no fire with enough smoke to fill up, I don't know, Alaska. I don't know why I picked Alaska. I could have picked Texas. That would have been better. It's preposterous to think that there's no fire in this smoke. It's just preposterous. Rhinoceros. I hope I don't lose you tonight, Larry. I hope not. People like you here, and I hope that doesn't become the main topic all the time. But who knows? I don't know. If I do take the videos down August 7th, which I'm praying about, and I pretty much said I'm going to do, if I do take them down, that doesn't mean I wouldn't cover major breaking news in the future. If all I have is Elvis Bob Joyce, if that's all I have in my bag of tricks, then as I was talking about, watch the replay of this. If you tuned in late, the one trick pony thing gets a little old after a while, but it's up to me to find Zoom interviews and things like that with fantastic topics. The problem that I face is that most people came here because of the Bob Joyce topic. So if I do something on, say, the snake people or the shadow people or aliens in general, many of the people that would be interested in that, I guess the way it works, they would never know it exists because they're not one of my subscribers. So, this is one of those things. You can't be in the actors union, SAG, if you don't have a speaking part, and you can't have a speaking part if you don't have a SAG card. It's one of those catch-22 type things that it's hard to get around. It's very confusing, Judy, right? I'm more confused than Joe Biden when he's trying to ad lib. So I'm just before we wind down, I'm just checking here, but I don't know what else, Bob. The idea that he suddenly got clean and defeated a megacolon, glaucoma, heart disease at 46 years old. It went by, but I understand what you're saying. Hey, what can I tell you? He would have access to the very best treatment. And I'm not saying that he didn't have to have ongoing treatment for years and what have you. I'm not saying it all happened in 3 or 4 months. I'm just saying that was, and I don't even know the actual amount of time that Glenn Akins was talking about, but he was in that for a long time. And sure, you have the right to poo-poo it, of course. This is America. And even if you're not in America, it's okay. Oh, Mike. See, I almost forgot Mike. I even have it saved here, I think. I got to go to, I had it minimized, I thought. Mike is in London. This is live streaming, so now I got to find a way. I'm without the icon. For some reason, I don't have the icon here. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do it from my phone. I will not be defeated, Mike, in London. Right now, it's probably about 8 o'clock in the morning in London, right? And I dropped my cheap glasses. Here they are. But it's the $1.25 Dollar Tree glasses that allow me to actually read. My prescription glasses are not so good this time. Good night, Brenda. Thanks for stopping. Thanks for all you do. Okay, so yeah, you're saying things that I constantly hear, Bob. So, and I think many of I've heard it too. I can't take the word of Billy Smith. I can't do that. See, anybody that was in the Memphis Mafia or a close friend of Elvis would do what they had to do. They ain't gonna tell nobody. You keep your mouth shut. You keep your mouth shut. That's what you do if you love Elvis, if he's important to you. You certainly don't. Like the people next, you're going to tell me, Bob 74, that, well, Spa Guy showed up at his porch and he told him I'm not Elvis. And the other part of that story is, like, he would give an exclusive to Spa Guy and then have to leave Benton the next day or the same day. Bob seemed to be disappointed in himself for answering no, and then said, look, the Lord gave me visions to reach the world with the gospel. In other words, he tried to justify the saying of the no. You have to go through so many coincidences. See, but you don't want to do that. You want to have your opinion and ignore all that. I still speak of possibilities. And with all that said, this could be the most amazing entertainment story of all time that would lead you to believe one thing, and it's not that. I get it. And I do leave room for that. I do leave room. But if you have already formed your opinion, Bob, 1974, is that the year you were born? I started broadcasting school in Hartford, Connecticut in 1974, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Billy Smith would not confide to anyone what he was told not to confide. I'm not saying, you just don't do that. Once you start doing stuff like that, it's like somebody is involved with somebody they should have never been involved with, and they promise the person I will never say anything about it, and then one day their best friend, they're having a conversation, and they say, "Now look, you're my best friend, and I know you can trust you. This is what happened." And then the next thing you know, that person tells another person, because um, they just have to do it. They just have to do it. Billy Smith is afraid that someone will make him drive a pink Jeep. Is that like Barbie? Like he did when he was a security guard at Graceland. I've heard all kinds of people who worked at Graceland. Maybe even Popcorn Sutton was a groundskeeper. Yeah, I hear all about the people that worked at Graceland. That's something I haven't really covered too much. Conspiracy within a conspiracy. It could be looking you all in the face and you can't see it. Yeah, there's always things we can miss. Dave Mitchell, help me out, Dave. You don't say enough, Dave. I need more than TCB from you because I know you know your stuff. Billy the Spa Guy. Is that his name? Billy? Billy the Spa Guy knows who Bob Joyce is. Don't be fooled. Yeah. Someone even told me Spa Guy goes to the church. Someone told me that Popcorn Sutton is Donald Stone. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying Lilac. Hi. Lilac? Where are you from? Nice to have you aboard. If I miss you, I'm so sorry, but it does go by pretty quick. And let me go to my email here. I'm going to have to do this on the phone now. I'm not showing pictures. I'm just reading what Mike, who put a lot of work into this, talking about his favorite Bob Joyce songs. And I'm going to have to try to find that. But you're talking amongst yourselves, which is groovy in a far out kind of way. And of course, when you try to do something fast, it's when things never quite work out. Okay. Okay, that's from last week. Try to do this in real time, and I've got what you did for me last week. I'm looking at all the old emails. They're coming up, but the one that I most need, I'm not seeing in that group of mails. This has happened to me before. There's so much stuff that when I try to get to it in real time like this, when I get surprised, I sometimes can't find what I need to find. Yeah. Heard from Dennis from Boston. Hello, Dennis from Boston. If you're watching in the replay, so glad you're here. And I somehow had it minimized here, and now it's gone. So we will put that off for next week. We'll talk about the Bob Joyce songs from Michael. Sorry, can't find it in real time. Oh, you're from Texas. My kids live in Austin or near Austin. I go out there quite a bit, but it's been a while, and I need to do that and see my daughter and granddaughter. I hope. And wouldn't go this time. It's been so hot, right? What was your top temperature, Lilac? I have been to Round Rock a number of times as well as Austin. It's not that far away, obviously. And gone to the barbecue places and what have you. And I've never heard live music in downtown Austin, though. Never have. Wanted to. Oh, Becca. Hi, Becca. Hi, Jack and family. So next week, if God should spare me, if all goes well, we'll cover Mike's Bob Joyce reviews. I should have printed it out, but I didn't see much of Red Bear today. 66 still. Well, that's pretty good. I'll take 66. It has been that. I think we're falling a little lower than that tonight. And Jack, can you wait until after August 13th to take the Bob Joyce videos down? Pastor Bob will be doing baptisms at the river. There will be a lot going on that day. Interesting, interesting. I'll pray about all that, you know. I don't want it to look like I simply try to stir up a hornet's nest to get more views. And I'm very sincere what I say about not wanting to be a one-trick pony and wanting to do other things, but it is a conundrum. Hello, Pat Cogashell. Who is Tom Presley? Well, watch the replay right here. We talk about all that. Tom Presley may be a son of Elvis Presley. You can find pictures of him. You can find songs from him on YouTube. You'll hear Tom singing Can't Help Falling in Love. He sounds a little like Elvis, but when he sings the word can't, you'll notice he sings it differently than Elvis would. Spa Guy wouldn't make money on a live Elvis. Well, he sure got a lot of hits, so that means he's monetized his videos. Of course, he would get checks from Google. That's how it works, you know. I mean, he can donate it if you want to say that, but when you get past 1,000 views, you're allowed to monetize your videos. And I'm sure Spa Guy. I think he got over 1 million hits on that, right? I'm trying to think of the number. I can't think of it. But you know him personally, Larry? I'm not quite sure where you're coming from. Everything you say, you have to really, you have to back up with some kind of facts. You know that. Loving the sunflowers, Becca says. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's Karen's blanket. She don't have much need for a blanket right now, you know. You know how it goes. You have to look at it really hard, each and everything. If I come up with 40 or 50 things, you got to have an answer for every one of them. You know, you don't have to, but you know what I'm saying. That guy 6, Larry, the man of mystery. Yeah, well, he's not as much of a he was more of a mystery that it turns out, because he kept this he kept his mouth shut. He kept close to the vest, but it's cool. Larry, by the way, let me do something nice for you. Larry is a singer. He plays the guitar, and you can find his videos here on YouTube. Look up Larry Hogan and check him out. Check him out. Must have been real hard, Larry, all this time not to say this stuff before. So I'm a little bit surprised, but that's cool. It shows that you're a tolerant guy, and that's good. And I want to be too. You got that right, Larry. Game over for Billy the pool guy. He's the pool guy. His job is almost over. I wonder exactly what that means, Dave. A lot of you have told me about, people who used to work at Graceland. Yeah, you have told me about that. I'm still fishing, Jack. Oh, man. Believe me, Larry and others, I want to talk about other topics, but, this one dominates. This one dominates. And it's, all it brings for me, by the way, is pocket money every couple of months or so. That's all it brings for me. Not enough that I need, really, for, credit card bills and things like that. So, I know I see people with a lot less talent, but are very deceptive, having these mega hits. Like they'll take the latest Tucker Carlson Twitter thing, and they'll put some kind of BS headline in there. They'll try to make it look like he just did the video yesterday, and it's really from months ago, and people have already seen it. And they'll try to make it out like it's one had Tucker being arrested. It said, talk about clickbait. I have occasionally been accused of clickbait, not that much, but these guys do blatant clickbait and get 1 million views, 2 million views, and it's total BS. Total BS. And I see people that have what I would consider less talent than me that get a lot of hits that talk about things. And I see people with far more talent and certainly much better editing skills that I have. So Um, again, Larry, I don't know what you're saying. Everybody knows where Bob Joyce lives, so he would know where to go. I mean, you don't have to be Columbo to find out where Bob Joyce lives in Benton, Arkansas, and knock on his door. If we're going to be surprising, the thing that would surprise me is that it would be Bob that answers the door. That it would be Bob that answers the door. I'll give you that much. I did think of that because anyone that's been to the church sees bodyguards. That's what they tell me. Bodyguards, never too far away from Pastor Bob. That's just what they tell me. I have not been there, and I don't know if I'm ever going to go at this point. I was invited, but as I have said before, it was Popcorn Sutton that did the inviting. And if I didn't come to his way of thinking, it may not be so nice for me. I may be walking back to the airport in Little Rock. Three Severed Heads. What about discussing interviewing people's religious experiences? Sure. I'd be for that. Is my 3,100 list of subscribers going to care? I'm not so sure about that. I do have some Christians here. I'm not interested in people that have been in Scientology or in it, or I'm interested in people that came out of it. I'm not interested in hearing all about what Marianne Williamson has to say, for example, who wrote A Course in Miracles. You got really heavy tonight, Larry. This is a whole new side. Heavy, Larry. I mean that in terms of what you're saying. How would you feel if Bob called the station? The station, meaning this channel? Well, he does have my personal contact information because I contacted someone in the inner circle and they were nice enough to respond. And we had some interaction. They basically said, no, Bob's not Elvis, nothing to see here. There's only one Robert Wayne Joyce, et cetera, et cetera. I gave her my personal phone number because I said I always struggle with this. And if Pastor Bob is on, and I've said this on the videos since 2018, if Pastor Bob is unhappy with what I do, all he would have to do is video chat me on Facebook. That led me having to deal with Popcorn Sutton, who was nice at first. And then, as so many people have told me, and I have that in the emails, he's not nice after a while and goes everywhere to try to dissuade people. And if that doesn't work, he quickly, the niceness is gone. And this is what he does, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was told by Popcorn Sutton that Bob doesn't want to video call you. He says he doesn't trust you. And I'm his best friend. I ought to know. So, okay. Okay. So then just because Bob doesn't want to call, which is certainly his right, doesn't mean that I am going to keep the videos up forever. So I struggle with that, I struggle with that. But I can tell you, Larry, I stopped doing this topic and this is going to dwindle. It's going to dwindle. A lot of the people that are here, I'm not sure how many of them will remain here. And I would never, it might not be affected that much in the live stream because I would never censor the topic here. But I don't want to have to put the magic words in every video. And you can do a search. Go just to the live shows. See when I put Bob Joyce / Elvis in the title. See when I didn't. And look at the difference in the hits. It's simple math. See when I do something talking about the fact that we could be on the verge of World War III. Other videos on other topics I've done, see the amount of hits versus the Bob Joyce / Elvis topic. And it's so easy to see. Now, I talked about Carlton Pearson back in the day, the Pentecostal preacher who walked away from his faith in Jesus Christ. That got over 4,000 hits for me early. I have an Aleister Crowley video that got many thousands of hits. but it's a fluke, you know. Bob Joyce is the topic for me. It's the topic. So obviously, I would love to talk to Pastor Bob Joyce, Felice. He would never ever come on to do an interview. And I assume that if I ever did video chat with him, it would last probably about 40 seconds. Maybe he would let me ask him how the weather was in Benton. But any idea that I would try to record it and broadcast it is a bunch of hooey. And Pastor Bob is a smart man, and he, I think, would know that. I think he would know that. But that's okay, you know. Then there are people that tell me, look, at the end of the day, he doesn't seem to mind the people who do the picture videos, the rolling videos to get much more hits than you. Oh my goodness, we're past 2 hours. Wow. You know, he doesn't seem to mind that. You seem to know for sure, because Popcorn Sutton says it, that he doesn't like your work. But maybe there's part of Bob that does like the work because it brings more people to the gospel and more people to the church, although the church is too small, way too small. They should have built a 500-seater, and they built 125 seats. Ronnie McDowell answered the door in Spa Guy's video of where he's supposed to have met Bob. Ronnie McDowell, who wrote The King is Gone, right? Okay, Larry. All right. Oh, Dave Mitchell, what are we going to do about Larry? Billy's fake video is all by design. Yeah, I've heard that a number of times. I have, but I have no knowledge of it. I have no single wide trailer, you're saying, is where it was. I've never heard that one. We really don't know where Bob is Monday through Saturday, you know. There's certainly been many of sightings at Graceland. Many sightings at Graceland. The videos are on YouTube, you know, so there is that. But, you know, this is America. And in America, you get to have an opinion. And if you do it respectfully, that's cool, you know. Always like to close with the word of God, Colossians, 2nd chapter, beginning with verse 8. See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and the basic principles of this world rather than on Christ. For in Christ all the fullness of the deity lives in bodily form, and you have been given fullness in Christ, who is the head over every power and authority. In him you were also circumcised in the putting off of the sinful nature, not with a circumcision done by the hands of men, but with the circumcision done by Christ, having been buried with him in baptism and raised with him through your faith in the power of God, who raised him from the dead. That's 2 Colossians, NIV, beginning with verse 9. And we know that it's not by a process of osmosis that you come to Christ. The scripture says, if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. It's a gift that the scripture indicates you have to ask for. You have to receive Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. Making him Lord is a process. Savior, asking for forgiveness, is the easy part. The Lord part takes a lifetime. That's been my experience. So one thing is for sure, what's in here is far more important than talking about whether Bob Joyce is Elvis or not. And if you go to Household of Faith, listen to the word preached, join in on the praise, lift your hands in praise. It's a participation exercise, praise worship. If you sit there like the Frozen Chosen, you know, why'd you even bother going? You know, it's a participation exercise. Good night, everyone. Got to work later this morning. Have a blessed Sunday. Have a wonderful week, Jack. Thank you so much, Joanne, and blessings to your husband, Blue Sky Sons, Larry Hogan, Bella Boo Kitty, Amen, Andra, Three Severed Heads. There's so many. Melissa Gergen, and earlier we had Joanne. Just now, Joanne Cooper Troop, and of course Kathleen, and I said Melissa and Dave Mitchell, TCB. Thank you so much, Blue Sky Sons, and Lilac, first timer, I think. Becca, thanks so much, Becca, for watching. You always come in late. And we had some other new people. Bob, 1974, thanks for stopping by tonight. And Linda Templeton from upstate New York. Yeah, very, very good. And Patricia Hansen, Judy Wright, Susan, and Greg Atkins. Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, we heard from Jay Masters earlier. Jay Masters from the road. Joseph Kelly and Rose Drops. I'm getting most of them. And Brenda, thank you so much. I think we actually have several Brendas, but really appreciate you watching Worldwide Ramblings. We do this most Saturday nights, but we don't usually go 2 hours and 15 minutes. This was a long one. Talk to you real soon. Take care, everybody. God be with you. Thanks for joining us for Worldwide Ramblings.